So welcome in, everyone. Get ourselves settled into Virasana. So feet either side of your hips, stretching into the ankles, stretching into the shins and the fronts of the knees. You can adjust in any way that feels, you might need to feel like you're kind of stretching down through your quads, releasing the fronts of the knees, releasing the shins, whatever you need to do, even help adjust with your hands, you can do all of that. Sitting on a prop can just help elevate the hips enough to take the pressure off the feet and the ankles and that internal rotation in the hips. So take a moment to make yourself comfortable. Lengthen your tail down. Try and avoid arching the lower back too much. So tuck the tail, engage the core a little, sit nice and tall, and let your shoulders sink down. Nice to see you all on this Bank Holiday Monday. In the sunshine, it's been absolutely gorgeous, but sometimes the sun can be quite draining. It's kind of like an overload of positive energy. It is positive, but especially if you've been outside for a while, you can find yourself quite depleted as well. So we're going to take it easy today. It's our kind of like Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, easy flow today, I hope, anyway. So I'll give you some options for spicing things up if you need the spice today, but otherwise let's just take a moment to settle in and be calm and cool and collected. To sink into your hips, relax into your feet and your ankles, and if you need to cushion them out, feel free to do that. And if sitting like this is really uncomfortable for you, feel free to change position and come back to this when we start to move. But otherwise, take a moment to acknowledge your surroundings. Take in the sounds. The smells. Take in and acknowledge the sensations in the body. Become aware of your breath. Allowing for a nice, deep, slow rhythm. Just letting that develop naturally without force. You come to the 3-part breath and just focus on that breath for a little while. First part is the abdominal breath. You take a few abdominal breaths, just focusing and filtering breath down into the belly. If you like, you can place your hands there to feel the warmth of your hands, really drawing your attention to that area. Belly filling into your hands on your inhale, softening away from the hands again. One more like that. The area above the diaphragm now, so filling into the rib cage. Again, you can leave your hands here, you can leave them on your lap, or you can even place them on the sides of your ribs. And just start to feel your rib cage expanding, concertina-like, out under the arms. And then just placing hands, if you're using them again, you can let them rest in your lap. but at the front of your chest that runs the heart, the sternum, the collarbones. Just take a couple of shallow breaths into this, just this area. Are you feeling your sternum rising up towards you? Your collarbones rising up. And then rather than stay there too long, let's just place a hand on the top of the chest, a hand on the belly. Let your elbows in towards your ribs. And then just start to breathe into the hand on the belly. Breathe out into the ribs. All the way up into the upper chest. And exhale, let it go from the top down. So from the upper chest, rib cage, and from the belly. Again, breathing into the belly. Ribcage, upper chest. Exhaling, upper chest, ribcage. Just take a few more like that. Noticing the snaking, wave-like feeling of that breath moving through you. One more breath. Let it go. Let your hands rest down on your lap. On your inhale, let's start to work into our neck. So looking up towards the ceiling and lengthening. Exhale. Bringing chin towards the chest. Really stretch into the back of the neck. And really draw the chin right in. So give yourself that double chin that you're trying to avoid normally. Inhale again, up. Exhale down. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Exhale to the right. Inhale up. Let's go to the left and hold it here for a little bit longer. Now let your exhale think that you sink deeper into that stretch, letting go. If you like, you can place your left hand on the side of your head. Let it act as a weight to draw you down a little bit further. And then release your hand. Inhale, bring the head up. Exhale. Let's go to the right. And then gently start to, if you like, as an option, you don't have to do this. If the neck feels particularly tight, I would leave the hand off and just let the weight of the head itself be as much as the neck needs today. Remembering our skulls are quite a heavy piece of equipment for the little neck to manage. It can get quite stiff and quite tense. And then inhale, release, and come up. We're going to just take a twist. So let's twist to the left first today. Bring the right hand to the left leg, left hand in behind you, either to the floor or maybe onto your props or whatever you can get a grip on. Lift and lengthen and twist yourself around to the left. Hold it here for a few breaths. Unwind yourself to face forward. Take your right hand behind you, left hand to right knee. Lift and lengthen and again twist around. And back to center. We're going to stand up on our knees, move my bolster out of the way, bring the legs in kind of just directly under the hips. So the kind of center of your knees in line with your hip bone. That's some kind of idea that you can find. And we're going to maybe tuck the toes underneath, just to give yourself a good bit of grounding and stability. And coming back to our kind of side stretching banana shape, we're going to stretch up, interlace the fingers, pointing the index fingers straight up. Draw your shoulders down, squeeze your shoulder blades in. Take a deep breath in, look up. On your exhale, let's go to the left. So stretching over to the left, rounding through the knees and feet, and drawing in your belly to engage your core. Find length, try not to again collapse too much into the sides. We're going to lift up and out to create that space. Maybe rest your head on your lower arm if it goes there naturally and comfortably, and maybe look up a little as well. One more breath. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lengthening over to the right side. Again, you can let your head rest on the right arm and turning, looking up. So you bring your arms back far enough towards your ear that when you look up, you can see clear to the ceiling without looking at the arm. That makes sense. See if you can go a little bit deeper. And inhale, come up. And we're going to take our left hand towards the left heel. Now, if this is too much for you to reach back to your left heel, just take your hand to your sacrum. We're going to push the hips forward and arch back with the right arm. So my hand is on my heel, and I'll just turn myself to the side just so you see better. Hand to the heel, arching up and back, looking up. Holding. Inhale, come up, reach up. Exhale, take the other side. So right hand down to right heel or sacrum. So the option there would be to have your hand here, maybe not arch back quite as far. Engage your glutes to give you that extra little bit of support and stability. Or again, reach the heel, arch back a little deeper. Pushing the hips forward, opening the chest forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, sinking onto your heels, wrapping your hands down beside you and coming into child's pose. Inhale to come up. We're just going to do a little work on the shoulders. So you can either sit on your heels, if this is okay for you. You can take yourself into Virasana, which is, again, feet either side of the hips and sitting right down the floor. Now, you might find, again, that's too tough. If you want to sit up on your heels, you can, or again, you can come back, bring your bolster or your cushions back in underneath the hips. So these are the options. So we're going to reach for our diagonal stretch, the right arm up top, left arm out, rotating at the shoulder, and see if you can bring your hands together. And again, if you don't have a strap today, which I told you not to bother with, you can just grab your t-shirt or your top to give you the resistance if your hands aren't needed. So don't worry about it. We're not going to stay here too long. Just get a little stretch into the shoulders. 2 more breaths. And release, change sides. Up and back. And again, get that good rotation and stretch through the shoulder. See if you can bring your hands together. Again, grab your t-shirt for a little resistance. Open up, so make sure you're not leaning in or caving in. Try and get your head stacked up on your neck nicely. Right, nice and long. And on your next exhale, release. Let's come up off the feet, walk the hands in front, tuck the toes, lift the knees off the ground, and gently, keeping the knees quite bent, just ease back into the feet after sitting in Virasana. And just rock back and forth onto the feet, lowering the heels to the ground as much as you can. If you need to bring your hands back further to get your heels to the ground, do. And just rock back and forth. It's just a nice way to release. And then maybe start to straighten the legs as well. So bending, heels to the ground, straighten the legs, even lift the toes off the floor. And okay, we're going to go in for one more shoulder stretch. So again, you can sit on your feet. You can take your feet wide for Virasana. And we're going to wrap the right under the left at the elbow to come into eagle arms. So Gomukhasana arms. Urdhvasana arms, rather, sorry. Lift up your elbows, hands moving away from your face. Again, I'll show you that from the side. So trying to lift the elbows up to shoulder height, draw the hands away from the face. Hopefully feeling a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders to the shoulder blades. On your exhale, release, change sides, so left under right, lifting up, draw the hands away. Engage your core. Exhale, release. Come onto all fours. So we're going to spin myself around just so you see a little better. We're going to do just a couple of rounds of cat-cow in the normal way. So rounding the spine as you exhale, looking back towards your belly button. Inhale, looking up, dropping the shoulders back and down. Exhale, round. Remembering that tilt in the pelvis, lifting the tail now. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arching. And then we're going to include the right leg. So this time inhaling up and arch. Exhaling, knee to nose. Rounding, so really drawing the belly. Inhale, arch, like you're kicking the back of your head. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, keep the hips nice and steady so we're not sinking over to the left side too much. Exhaling. One more like that. Inhale up. Exhale. Nose to knee. And then like last week, we're going to do a circle. So out, lift the knee right up. Bring it back. Bring it to the chest. Bring it out. Bring it back. Bring it in. Keep the hips level. Maybe back straight, actually. I curled in, but I think I'm not going to do it again. In. And then back in towards you. This time, lift it to the side. So you're lifting your knee up as high as you can. And then keep your core strong. Try not to sink over to the left too much. Straighten that leg out. Oh. And back. And up. And in towards the chest. Lift the knee up to the side. Stretch it straight out. Core strong. Bend it in. Bring it back. Bring it to the ground. Okay, let's do the other side. Awesome. Okay, so, first of all, with the knee to nose, exhale. Inhale, tiger curl. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now keeping your back steady. In, out, back, in, out, back, in, out. Straighten, bend, back, in, out. Lift the knee as high as you can, and straighten. bend, back. One more like that, in, out, straighten, bend, back, and down. Let's walk the hands out a little bit further. And we'll tuck the toes. Lift to downward facing dog. Bring your feet to wherever feels good for you today. Just try and leave a space between them so they're roughly hip distance. But just decide how far in and out you need them to be. And then just take a few breaths here, really pushing the chest back towards the thighs to really lengthen the upper spine. Ground firmly through all of the hands. Both hands evenly, fingers, ball of the hand, heel of the hand. Yeah. Share a moment. Okay, right. Yes, I know what my plan was. Right, we're going to come into plank. So you might need to adjust your feet back further. Inhale into the plank. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Drawing your belly, lift your hips, press back to downward dog. Flowing with the same. Inhale into plank. Exhaling back. Really engage the legs, engage the core. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale. This time we're going to stretch up. I might need to move forward a little bit better. Stretch up the right leg. Hold it. Lengthen. Exhaling, coming forward into the plank and bringing your knee towards your right tricep. So lifting it up high. Inhaling, up. Back into your 3-legged downward dog. Exhale, knee in towards the tricep, shoulders over the wrist. Inhale up. One more time like that. Forward, exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, come into a lunge. Step your right foot to the top of your mat. Drop your left knee to the floor. Take a moment here to just sink in. Lower down. Okay. Now we're going to take a twist. I'll spin around again just so you see me better. The left hand on the ground. Right hand just on the knee for now. We'll just start to ease ourselves into this twist. So as you press into your right hand on your right knee, start to draw up and back your right shoulder so that you're bringing your chest to face the same direction as that right knee. Your knee is directly over the ankle and you're pressing down into the big toe nice and firmly to stop yourself kind of falling out to the side. So keep the grounding through that foot. Then we're going to reach that arm up and the palm can face forward or to the side, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure your shoulder is back, core is strong, and maybe look up if it's okay in your neck. One more breath. Exhale, shoot the arm back and see if you can follow it with your gaze. But again, see what happens in your neck. And if it doesn't feel good, you just bring your head to wherever feels good. Now, last part is an optional extra, so you can stay here or you can reach for your foot. Where is it? There it is. And then use it to get a deeper twist again. So your foot kicks back into your hand gets drawn back, drawing open your chest and shoulders as well. Looking back if you can. Rounding through that right big toe. Release and come back, hands down to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog and we'll do that again on the other side. So we'll start with an inhale into plank, shoulders over the wrist, tightening up the legs, holding for a few breaths. 3, 2, 1. Push back to downward dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward dog. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Left leg reaches high. Hold for another breath. Exhale, shoulders shift forward. Knee comes to left tricep. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward. If this is too much for you, come back to the plank with 2 feet instead. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. This time into lunge. Inhale, step it forward. If getting into the lunge is difficult, just drop your knees first and step forward. Drop the hips forward. Sink and open. And just again, settle in. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Settling, easing into your lunge position. Notice how your hips are feeling. Okay, back into our twist. So right hand on the ground, left hand onto left knee, and just pressing into it to start to twist to the side. So again, I'll spin around so you can see that. The left hand to knee, opening. And just take a moment there to ground and see if you want to go to the next stage. So everything is in stages so that you can always choose to stay or go. On your inhale, reaching that left arm up. Strong core. And again, that focus on pressing firmly down into the big toe, which kind of also, you know, in that kind of kinetic chain, works out through into your inner thigh muscles to draw the leg in from falling out to the side. Okay, staying here or reaching back. Again, see how that works in your neck if you want to look back. And final option is to reach for your foot. And again, open up the chest again, take the hips forward again, and blossom into a deeper twist. Good stretch into those right quads and hip flexors as well. Okay, on your exhale, release. Right, we're going to bring ourselves into downward facing dog, so step the left foot back. And we're going to proceed by walking our hands back to our feet. And we'll stay in a forward fold here. So you can either hook your big toes and draw yourself down strongly, or you can be soft and gentle, take your hands to your elbows, and just let yourself sink in. Now gently release your hands from your elbows if they're there, or from the toes if they're there, and roll yourself up to standing. So if anyone watched the beginners video that I did last week, you'll see that, you know, I kind of gave an alternative to a sun salute. So don't get plenty of sun today and the last few days. So we're going to soften out our sun salute in a different way. It's like an alternative for any days you don't really feel like going into the full Surya Namaskara. So grounding down through feet hip distance. We're going to start with hands behind the back. Inhale, reach, straighten the arms if you can with the hands interlaced behind the back. And look. On your next inhale, let go. Reach up. We're going to keep that nice openness and length in the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Now you can roll down, you know, nice and softly, or you can keep some kind of strong structure going. So you have that choice to be really fluid and just let your spine curl down, or to come down with straight back, strong core, strong legs. From here, we're going to walk our hands forward into downward facing dog. Push back, couple of breaths. Now start to walk yourself up to your hands and bring your feet together near the top of the mat. Bend your knees to sink down into a squat. Bring your hands together, interlace the fingers, and again, leave those index fingers out and you can cross your thumbs. Come up onto your tippy toes. Drop your shoulders down and back, straighten your back and engage your core, nice and strong. Balance. On your exhale, keep yourself up on your tippy toes, bring your hands to the ground, straighten your legs as much as you can, staying heels off the ground, fold in. Flatten your hands, walk yourself back to downward dog. Stretch up, stretch out. Walk your hands back in for your forward fold. Coming back up again, you can roll yourself to standing, or you can shoot your hands in front for a little extra work for the core. Rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, hands back behind you, interlace the fingers, push the hips forward, push the chest open, look up. Exhale, release, hands to heart. Take a breath. Inhale, reach back, stretch back, open up the chest. On the next inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, walk your hands forward. Exhale, push back into downward facing. Next exhale, walk your feet up to the top of the mat. This time take them wide, turn your toes out. Sit down into a wide leg squat. Bring your hands together at your heart, and I'll just show you what I'm doing. Hands together at your heart by pressing your elbows into your knees, lifting your chest up towards your hands. And see if you can get your heels to stay down on the ground. Don't worry if they don't want to do that either. Hands down. Let's come back onto the tippy toes. Stretch up. Take the feet a little wider this time. Fold in, let your heels come to the floor. Let's walk back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to forward fold. Feet a little closer together this time. Inhale, reach forward, come back to your standing, or again, you can roll up nice and softly and gently. Exhale, hands behind you. Push the hips forward, open the chest, arch back. Exhale, release, maybe bring your hands together here. Okay, vary it slightly again this time. So in starting back, hands together, open the chest, look up. Exhale here, release the hands. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, walk into downward facing dog. Exhale, push into a deeper extension in the spine. Inhale, start to walk your feet up to your hands. This time we're going to bring our feet together again. So heels down for now, bending your knees, sinking into that squat. See if you can really keep the heels on the floor. Lengthen the spine. Bring your hands together. Stretch forward. Lift onto the tippy toes. Straighten your back, drop your shoulders. Tuck in your tummy and really engage the core now. Okay, so we're going to make this one a little bit more challenging. So one option, if you're feeling challenged enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, we're firing up the legs to lift ourselves up, staying on tippy toes the whole time if you can. Exhale, sink back down. We're going to do 2 more like that. Inhale up, up. Exhale down. Turkey. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hands down. Stretch up. Straighten the legs. Fold in. Walk back to downward dog. Take a stretch. Walk your hands back to your feet. Fold in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands behind you, interlace. Open your chest. Exhale, release. Okay, our next little sequence, we're going to step, nice big step forward with the right foot. And then slowly ground your left heel to the floor at its 45-degree angle. So it's slightly pointing out towards the side of the mat, but up towards the front as well. Square the hips. And you can adjust your feet so that your heel can come to the ground. So normally if you have a shorter stance, it makes it much easier for the heel to come down. But when you bend your knee, we're going to try and make sure it doesn't go beyond the ankle. So if that's happening, adjust a little bit further so you can see if you can still keep your heel down. Square the hips so the left hip is in line with the right hip, so it's not back behind. Forward. Warrior 1, inhale, reach up. Draw the shoulders back and down. Lengthen into the sternum, into the upper spine, look up. Maybe palms together if you can keep them straight. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Hold it. Now notice if you're collapsing into the inner arch of your left foot and then press again into the baby toe edge to lift that inner arch. Feel what action happens in the legs. The legs normally have to lift and engage a little bit more to create that action of lifting the inner arch up. Now, we're going to bring our hands down to the heart, down onto the floor, and we're going to come into a variation of Warrior 3. So lifting the left leg up. Point the toes to the floor as you flex your foot. Drawing your belly, get strong in your right leg. Strong in the muscles of your glutes as well, the right, especially the outer glutes on the right hip. Lengthen your spine. Now, you have the option to stay here, and we're working on kind of keeping the hips level if you're in this position. Otherwise, work your right hand out in front of you a little bit more. Bring your left hand to your hip, and again, you can stay here, or you can start to lift your left hip up, point your left toes out to the side, and stretch up into your left arm for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. All options, okay? Sprinkling just a little spice. Okay, on your exhale, hand to the hip, turn the hip down. We'll come back down the way we came up. Bring your hand back to the floor. Drop your left foot back down onto the floor at the back. And we'll take like a mini vinyasa. So let's step back into plank. Separate your feet. Get your shoulders over your wrists. Spread out your fingers. Fire up your core. Fire up your legs. Hold it. Okay, drop your knees. We're going to hold chaturanga with knees on the floor today. So lower down, squeeze your arms into your ribcage. 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down. Release the arms back behind you again. Interlace the fingers. Lift the legs, lift the chest, stretch the arms back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lower the feet. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Lift up. Push back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths, stretch it out. Walk your hands back to your feet. Fold in. Rising back to standing, so you can curl up or work it up. Nice and straight and strong. Reach up. And we'll just bring the hands back to the heart this time. Take a moment to be still and to ground. Pause. Do the other side. Okay. So, hands to the hips. Let's just take a nice big step forward with the left foot. You'll notice your right heel coming off the ground probably. So let's lower that one back down. Square your hips forward. So the right hip forward, left hip back, perhaps maybe even little to meet it so that you have hips level, parallel with the front of your mat. On your inhale, let's reach up, sink down, maybe a little bit more. So if you feel you can go more while keeping the heel on the floor, just keep wiggling that left foot forward to give you your nice end result, warrior one. Hands together, engage that back leg enough to lift that inner arch away from the floor. Draw the rib cage in. So if you feel you're really arching a lot, draw the rib cage in, lower the tail. Hands down. Bring them to the floor. Lift up. So maybe bring the hands just in front of the foot, I would say. Lift up the back leg. Point the toes to the floor. Strengthen and straighten the left standing leg. See if you can make a nice T shape with your leg, your torso, and the standing leg. Level your hips. This is always the trickiest part of this pose, is having, imagine you've got your dinner resting on your sacrum there. So if your right hip is up, it's going to slide off. So just imagine that. Now maybe taking your right hand onto your hip, moving your left hand out in front a little bit further and out to the side, maybe. Then if you want to go further into Ardha Chandrasana, you're lifting your right hip up, pointing the toes away from you out to the side, reaching up. One more breath. Hand down onto the hip, lower the hip down, point the toes to the floor. Bring the hand back to the ground. Walk them in a little bit. Bend your left knee, bring your right foot down. Back into plank. 3, 2, broaden your shoulders, draw them back down onto the back. Drop your knees, chaturanga. This time actually we'll do press-ups. So lower the chest down a little bit, squeeze the elbows in, push back up. Exhale. Push up. Exhale down. Push back up. Exhale to the floor. Inhale, hands back behind you, interlace the fingers. Lift the chest, stretch the arms back, lift the feet. Lower the feet. Release the hands. Place them under the shoulders. Lift up. And this time sit back on the heels. Walk your arms in front of you and just let yourself rest in an extended arm child's pose. Now inhale to come up. We're going to take ourselves into a pigeon shape. So let's slide the right knee forward, the right wrist. Encourage your right foot over to the left side of your mat as much as you, as far as it wants to go. And then we'll stretch back into the left leg. So kind of inch your foot, your left foot back away from you as far as you can go. Try not to sink down to your right hip too much, so keep the hips level, so left hip bone pointing to the floor rather than pointing out to the side, if that makes sense. On your next exhale, let's walk ourselves forward into a forward fold. Maybe coming onto elbows and just resting here. Resting is maybe not the right word for some people. It might be excruciating. So just find ease in whatever position you're in, whatever kind of level of difficulty you're at right now. Just try and find a sense of ease in the pose, tweaking it where needed. Adjusting this foot helps. So the further forward you bring this foot, the more intense the pose becomes. So if you feel the need to release it back further, that will bring some help, might help bring some ease. Climbing up again onto your hands. Let's sweep back to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet to release into the hips a little. Dropping the knees again. And sliding your left knee forward, the same on the other side. So again, left foot to the right side of your mat, knee right behind your left wrist. And then sliding back as far as you can go. Kind of feeling like you're coming into a kind of a split position in the hips, which it is really. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, let's climb into a forward fold. Coming up, walking back up onto your hands. This time, we're just going to take ourselves to a seated position by sinking down onto that left hip. Sweeping your right leg around to come forward and into cross leg with the right foot in front. So for you guys, it'll look like this. Okay. So we're going to come into Sukhasana, forward fold. So wiggling the feet out under the knees, pointing the toes forward, and gently easing yourself into forward fold in this way. Inhale, coming up. We're going to step the right foot up, the knee pointing up, foot on the ground. We're going to wiggle this left foot in underneath a little bit more, and then bring the right foot to the outside of the left leg. So you're in this pretzel position, ready for Matsyendrasana. So again, ground through this right foot that's stepped over the left leg. Point the left toes out to the side. Try not to sit on that left foot and try and have both sit bones grounding into the mat. Lift and lengthen, and we'll take a twist. So reach back with your right hand. Open back your right shoulder. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, or softly wrap it around the knee for a nice soft option. So whichever option you choose to take, let's twist through lengthening. So always think of lengthening before you twist. Lift, create space between the pelvis and the rib cage, and find your depth of twist that feels good for you today. Releasing, unwinding. Let's unravel the legs, crossing them first of all for Sukhasana with feet flexed, feet under the knees as much as possible, so wiggling them to find that spacing, lifting and lengthening. And hands in front for the forward fold. Sink into the hips. Inhale, rising up. Deepening the twist now and the movement into the hips. So lifting the left knee up momentarily, wiggling the right foot further round and bringing the left foot over the right leg to firmly stamp into the floor on the outside of that right leg. So again, try and level the hips around both sit bones as much as possible. You can always sit yourself up on a cushion here if this feels too much. And again, an option here to release and make things softer is just let the lower leg be straight in front of you. If this is just feeling too much in your hips today, straighten the lower leg. The other option there for softness and ease. So let's lift and lengthen. Bring your left hand behind you. You can use your hand to guide you into your twist. You can wrap your elbow around the front of your knee, or you can bring your elbow to the outside of the knee and twist around. And those of you who want to take, your bind and want to take a bind, feel free to go there too. And exhaling to unwind. I'm going to get you to open legs out for Upavista Konasana. Find your sit bones. Bring your hands behind you to initially to give you a nice straight spine. Find your sit bones, most importantly, because often in this one we want to roll back towards the tail. So let's try and keep the tail free of the floor. Stay up on the sit bones. And if you need your hands here to stay on the sit bones, if you find that when you let go, you instantly roll back, leave your hands here and stay in this position. If you find that when you let go, you can stay in your upright position, bring your hands to the ground in front of you. We're going to, first of all, just take a forward fold. So walk your hands in front as far as you can go. Lift and lengthen up out of the waist again. And again, sink into your version of your forward fold. Again, not worrying about how far you come, just knowing that you're going as far as your body is allowing today. Try not to let the feet collapse in. We can stay kind of erect with the feet pointing straight up, using the muscles of the legs to engage and keep that position as much as possible. Keep the sit bones grounding. Half lift now, and we'll walk ourselves over to the left foot. Reaching for the foot perhaps, or just bringing your hands to the ground either side, and just folding in towards that left leg, while still pressing down firmly through this right leg. Right sit bone. Walk yourself gently from here back to center. Again, lengthen the spine and walk round to the right foot. Round through the left sit bone and fold in towards the right leg. Gently rising up. We're going to bring our feet together. I'm going to sit to the side, and we're going to just work again into the core. So today we're going to lean back a little, draw in the belly, keep the back really straight, so keep the shoulders down, chest lifting, rather than the other way around where you're kind of sinking down between the shoulders. So lift the chest, drop the shoulders. And you can just reach your arms in front of you, up a little, so that it would be like how the arms would be directly out of the shoulders. When you lean back, they kind of stay in that position. That's the way we're holding them. Draw in the belly, hold it here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to come up. Take a pause. Into facing this. So same foot position, same leaning back, but with a bit of twisting. So again, arms into that same position. Draw in the belly. Take a deep breath in and exhale around to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Exhale right. Inhale center. Once more other side. And back. Take a pause. Hands down. Curling. Do whatever you need to do to allow your body to soften and rest a little. Now we're going to option now to do the same or lift the feet off the ground, squeezing the legs together. So lifting the feet to kind of knee height, reaching the arms in front, lifting the arms up a little. On your exhale, left, right, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. One more other side. And release. Let's curl ourselves down onto the floor. Again, curling, you can bring one vertebra down at a time. You use your hands as brakes or just leave the hands up to give yourself a little extra work for your core. Release down. And we're going to just stretch out his abdominals in little bridge. So bring the feet close to the hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Exhale. Just one like that. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to come into little bridge and hold it. So inhale up. Walk your shoulders in. Get nice and steady, grounded, so your hands can stay on the mat if you like, or they can interlace under your back. See how that feels in your neck? You might sometimes find that's a little pulling on the neck. So just see what works. Press down into your big toes again to stop the knees falling out. Keep the hips lifting. Engage your buttocks, glutes. Release your hands, release your shoulders. Bring yourself slowly back to the mat. Stretch out your legs for Shavasana. Settle down. Flip the palms up to face the ceiling. Roll out your shoulders. Flatten your shoulder blades. Let your feet flop out to the sides. Let your legs roll out from the hip socket. Just invite that wave of softness in through the body. In whatever way it comes to you, whether it's head to feet or feet to head or rippling in any way that you notice, just be aware of the body's relaxing. And it might be, it might come more naturally for you to relax certain parts of your body first and then spend a little bit of time signaling to those parts that have yet to let go. So take some time to notice. So surrender the thought process to just observing the breath. Just watching the body softening with each exhale. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like, as long as you need. I want to thank you all very much for practicing with me today and throughout the last 6 weeks. I think we've been doing this Zoom classes. Thank you so much. It meant a lot to have you here. And hopefully I'll see you soon, whether it's in the park or here for further Zoom classes throughout the summer. From my heart to yours, namaste.